Imagine you have thousands of sales records. How do businesses quickly find their top customers, best selling products, and highest revenue categories? The answer is SQL group by and having. In this video, we will learn how companies analyze real business data using these two powerful SQL commands. When working in accounting or business, raw transaction data is not enough. We don't just want to see individual entries, we want summaries. For example, total rent expenses, total revenue per product, or total purchases per month. That's exactly what Group By helps us do. It converts detailed transactional data into meaningful business insights. Having is equally important because after summarizing, we often needed to filter the results. For example, show only customers who purchased more than $1,000 or expenses greater than $500. Together, Group By and having allow accountants to perform financial analysis directly in SQL without exporting to Excel. The group by class groups rows based on one or more columns. After grouping, aggregate functions like sum, count, or average calculates totals for each group. For example, sum of amount grouped by account name gives total expense or revenue per account. Having works after grouping, where filters individual transactions before grouping, while having filters summarized the results after grouping. This distinction is very important in financial reporting. Think of where is filtering journal entries and having is filtering financial statement totals. This cheat sheet summarizes what you need for business reporting. Sum is commonly used for financial totals. Count helps track transaction volume, which is useful for operational analysis. Average helps measure average sale value or average expense size. The most common mistake beginners make is trying to use sum inside where that doesn't work because aggregation happens after filtering. Always remember the order from where group by having order by. This is the order in which SQL commands are executed. In SQL, where and having both filter data, but they operate at different stages of query execution. Where filters individual rows before any grouping happens, which means it cannot use aggregate functions like sum, count, or average because aggregation hasn't occurred yet. In contrast, having filters results after the group by class has grouped the data, so it works on aggregated results and can use aggregate functions such as sum. In chart, use where to filter raw rows and having to filter aggregated group results. Now let's get hands-on and do practical examples to understand the group by class a bit more in depth. Query number 1. What is the total amount for each account? This query groups all transactions by account name and calculates total amount for each account. This helps accountants quickly see how much was spent on utilities, rent, office supplies, each and how much revenue was generated. Query number 2. How much total expense do we have? In this query, we first filter only expense transactions using where, then we group them by account type and calculate the total. This tells management the total operational expense recorded in the dataset. Query number 3. Which product generates the most revenue? This query groups revenue transactions by product ID and calculates total revenue per product. This is extremely useful for product profitability analysis. From a business strategy angle, this helps management identify top performing products. Instead of guessing, decisions are based on actual aggregated revenue data. Query number 4. Which customers bought more than 3 total items? This query groups transactions by customer ID and calculates total quantity purchased. Then having filters only customers with more than 3 items purchased. Query number 5. Which accounts have total expenses greater than 1000? Because expenses are stored as negative amounts, we use having sum of amount less than minus 1000. This identifies accounts where spending exceeded 1000 in absolute terms. This is very powerful for internal control. Management can quickly identify cost heavy areas and investigate further. It replaces manual Excel filtering with automated SQL analysis. Query number 5. What is the average sales value per product? This query shows how count and average together. It calculates how many sales occurred per product and the average sale value. Query number 6. What is total cash flow by category? Grouping by cash flow category summarizes operating with financing activities. This resembles a simplified cash flow statement. This helps accountants understand how cash moves within the business, whether operations are generating enough funds or financial activities. Today we learned how group by converts raw transactions into meaningful financial summaries. We also saw how having helps filter those summaries to answer real business questions. If you want to become confident in SQL for accounting, practice creating reports directly from transaction data. Thank you very much.